Hello again. Hello, Sabrina.
Hello, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning. I think it's gonna be a warm day.
The warm day today.
Yes. It is. Well, actually, no. It's gonna be only 75.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's pull up the news. There was some news about, I think, like 30 minutes ago.
So,
So let's pull it up. And BC News. All right.
what the new ACE.
So, just about 30 minutes ago, the Supreme Court upholded the Affordable Care Act in a 7-2 decision. The Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, has been under Republicans have been trying to get rid of it for I'd say since Obama got it passed. So it's a 7-2 decision.
Bye,
Which means it's a 7-2 decision. So the specific part of the law that they wanted to get rid of was called the individual mandate, which is a tax penalty for not having insurance.
People don't have the insurance. They have penalty for that one.
Yes.
Oh,
And it's like, I think it's like $700.
per year.
Yep. Every year.
Oh,
So, let's see. So this is a part of the year which the Supreme Court releases rulings. So there's 2 sessions every year for the Supreme Court. One is the fall, one is the spring. And usually what happens is any cases that go before the Supreme Court in the fall are decided in the spring, and any cases heard in the spring are decided in the fall. In the fall, it's about November. So it's like the entire month. Every day, there's like one Supreme Court ruling that's released. So, what happened was 18 states that are Republican majority, led by Texas, was urging the Supreme Court to rule that Obamacare's requirement for all Americans to obtain health insurance or pay an income tax penalty known as the individual mandate, is unconstitutional. So, but they wanted to also, for that reason, get the entire law thrown out. It's kind of a silly concept. Because normally most laws you don't throw away everything. So, in the decision, Justice Stephen Breyer said that the states don't have standing to challenge the individual mandate because they have not shown an injury traceable to the enforcement of the provision that they claimed is unconstitutional. So, what this means is states cannot, so the individual mandate is against people. So if Sonia decides I don't want to get insurance, her taxes at the end of the year, she'll get a $700 fine. Now, what Stephen Breyer is saying that states do not get the fine, so they cannot actually bring a lawsuit to the Supreme Court. It has to be an individual that does it. And it's probably going to be hard to find an individual that does not have health care and chooses not to get health care. At this point, most people want health care because, well, if they get sick suddenly, they don't want to suddenly have to pay lots of money. So, so this fight has been going on since at least 2012, when the Republicans have been bringing fights to the Supreme Court. But the other problem here is, can you read that sentence for me, Sonia?
Yes, but in 2017, the Republican lead Congress set the tax penalty at zero. Like they don't, I think they don't do nothing.
So, because in 2017 they changed the law and made the penalty zero, there's now no harm that can come from the tax penalty because it's zero. There's nothing to pay.
Nothing.
Nothing to pay for the penalty or something. What, nothing to pay, zero tax? What's that mean?
So what it means is you will get a penalty, but the penalty is $0. So effectively, there is no penalty, even though technically there is. So what the Supreme Court is saying, they're saying that because there is no actual penalty that can harm someone, there's no reason for the law to be taken away. So that happened today. If we go to a website called SCOTUS blog, and if you remember from the other day, SCOTUS is Supreme Court of the United States. SCOTUS blog is, oh, they changed it. It looks pretty now. It used to look older, but it looks like they recently updated it. So on Thursday, they issued the following opinions. So you got California versus Texas, which is
Mhm.
the Affordable Care Act. The next one is Fulton versus City of Philadelphia. They ruled 9-0 in favor of a Catholic organization that argued its religious rights were violated when it was excluded from a foster care program due to its refusal to certify same-sex couples. So that's actually interesting. 9-0. You almost never see that. And then Nestle versus Doe argued that a lawsuit against Nestle and Cargill brought under the Alien Tort Statute by former child slaves in Ivory Coast may not proceed in the United States. That's actually a very interesting one. So they're saying former child slaves cannot sue Nestle in the United States. Which also brings up the point that, yes, Nestle is not a very good company. They actually use child slaves in Africa. So, there is usually a calendar. Oh, here we go. So you can see here, this is the conference. This is the opinion calendar. So it actually looks like we're almost done with all of the Supreme Court rulings for this year.
Next month.
Let's see if we can see next month. Oh, let me click accept. Let's go to cases. October term. Okay, there's actually still 18 more cases left. So that means probably in July, we will have a sudden dump of all the rest of them. And this does happen where I want this to go here. So there's 18 cases left to be decided. They typically wait to hold on these controversial decisions to the very, very end. I'm not sure why they do it that way, but it's been the tradition they've had. So let's take a look at our survey. So we could take a look at what everyone decided so far. So we go into responses.
I give my answer, but I look back, then they don't save. They didn't save.
Yeah, seem like they don't save, right? I don't see mine either.
Well, let's take a look. Nope, I see all your answers.
Yeah.
These are all.
But
So
but I don't see it. They say unsubmit. That's something
then,
like that. I show in my
my
iPad. Not
usually when you hit submit,
they don't say.
It doesn't say. It'll say like thank you or. But
no.
It won't actually show you what you did. So, would you prefer eating pizza or salad? Look, everyone said salad. Very healthy.
Yes.
Okay, Japanese food versus Vietnamese food. We have 3 Japanese, 1 Vietnamese.
Me, 1 Vietnamese.
Would you rather visit Florida or California? We have 3 for Florida, 1 for California. Would you rather visit France or Germany? We have 1 Germany and 3 France. I could see that. If you've never been to France, you'd probably want to go there first.
Everybody watch a movie.
Everyone wants to watch a movie.
Yes.
Oh, 3 people want a pet pig. 1 person wants a pet tiger.
Oh no.
Someone's going to be the tiger king.
Mhm.
I know tiger is dangerous.
Then we have, would you rather get a dog or a cat? And we have half and half. So our class cannot decide which one they'd rather have. And the same thing for ride a bike and run. We got
Mhm.
to run, to ride a bike.
Okay.
We have 3 walks, 1 swim. Oh, interesting. Oh, everyone wants to go to New York, not Boston. Boston is an interesting place to go to. I've been to Boston. When was the last time I think it was like 7 years ago. But I used to live in New York, so.
Yeah, me too.
And would you prefer to go out or stay home this weekend? We're still 50-50, 2 out, 2 home.
Mhm.
So that was fun to do.
Thank you.
And today's lesson, let's see.
Sorry, I was some question of teacher. I cannot go to the homework. I
Uh-huh.
don't know why.
Let me take a look. I see Sabrina. So Yen, it looks like you didn't join yet. So I'll send Laura an email so that she could send you your username and password for Google. And you can try after class. Let me send her an email now.
I go to the classroom, but I only see the citizenship class. Teacher, I check the picture for you, and I send the email, but I don't give the reply. Teacher response.
I think it's because it's your it's your personal email. So to get into the Google Classroom, you have to use meridenadulted.org. So this account you didn't have it when we had citizenship because
I have citizenship on 2020. Only see that teacher.
So what you have to do is click add another account. And then you would put your email address, which is, I don't have your password, but I have your email address. It would be yendu@meridenadulted.org. And then the password, I'll ask Laura to send you.
I will send email at Laura, teacher.
Yep, I'll do it for you. I'll do it actually in right now. So today we're gonna continue with our lesson on U.S. government. And we're doing the reading today, which is the checks and balances. So checks and balances are an important part of the U.S. government. So repeat after me. In this lesson, you are going to read about the 3 branches of the U.S. government.
In this lesson, you are going to read about the 3 branches of government, United States government.
Good. You will summarize information using a chart.
You will summarize information using a chart. This is one I don't know, it's complicated to read, to pronounce it. Chop.
Okay. Retell key details.
Retail key details.
Else.
Distinguish between parts of speech.
Distinguish
Dis-
between
Between
Distinguish
part of speech.
between parts of speech.
Distinguish between parts of speech.
Distinguish between parts
speech.
of speech.
Good. So, what do you see here in the bottom left?
The bottom left, which one? The flag? The bottom left?
Well, they all have flags, which makes it a little confusing.
Yeah.
Let me circle it. So this one here, do you know what this is?
White House.
It's
This
not- the part that will give it away is this part right here.
mm,
Only one of
What's
the
that?
3 buildings have it.
Yeah.
what's that? Statue?
Well, there is a statue at the top.
Uh-huh.
I could actually show you a picture of it because it is a unique statue.
Mm.
The
This
flag.
is the Capitol building.
Yeah, the capital there.
So the
The
Capitol
Capitol building.
building. So when you say the Capitol, they are talking about this. So the capital of the United States is the building. That is the center of the Capitol. And then this picture here. Oop,
Washington, D.C.?
yep, it is in Washington. What's this?
White House.
White House.
That
White
is the White
House.
House. And in fact, that is the Oval Office right here. That's where the president works.
Mhm.
And work in White House, President work.
Washington, D.C., right?
Yep, all 3 are in Washington, D.C. And then this up here is something we actually talked about just a few minutes ago.
Supreme Court.
That is the Supreme Court.
Mhm.
And the White House.
They decide everything in this area, in these 3 areas, right?
So the Supreme Court, they are the highest court. So they decide matters that are about the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you get arrested and the police search your car and they refuse to allow you to have a lawyer, that becomes what's called a that's a constitutional question, because by law, by the Constitution, you are allowed to have a lawyer with you when you are arrested. So what happens is when situations happen that break the Constitution, you go all the way to the Supreme Court and they decide who was right and who is wrong.
Yeah.
And whatever the Supreme Court decides becomes the law. So in the United States, only 2 branches of our government can really make law. You have the legislative branch and the Supreme Court.
Okay.
So the way laws are made by the Supreme Court is like when the Supreme Court decides, yes, this goes with the Constitution, or no, this action goes against the Constitution. When the Supreme Court makes a decision, that means that law is now in effect. So the second the Supreme Court puts it on their website, it is now the law. Whereas when the legislative branch makes a law, both the Senate and the House of Representatives have to agree, and then they send that law to the president, who has to sign it. So it actually takes longer for laws to be made in the legislative side than on the Supreme Court side. But the Supreme Court doesn't often get cases that will change the law. So So, for example, the Affordable Care Act lawsuit, if they decided it was illegal, that would have changed the law. The Affordable Care Act would have been gotten rid of, and literally 20 minutes afterwards, your insurance could change their rules, and they could suddenly kick you off or raise your rates. That's how sudden it happens. So, just because we just mentioned it a second ago, let's take a look at the statue at the top of the Capitol. So, it's actually a very interesting statue. It's Capitol statue. So, it's called the Statue of Freedom.
Mhm.
It's actually very large.
Who is this?
So this is, let me get it. It's called Freedom Triumphant in War and Peace. And it is a almost 20-foot tall statue weighing
Wow.
15,000 pounds.
Mhm.
15,000 pounds. Wow.
Yeah. So you can
Big.
see in the
Freedom.
outfit, this is a Native American shawl. And everything she has is a symbol. So she has a wreath of laurel leaves, which represents peace in Greek and Roman culture. She
Ah,
has a shield she uses to defend the United States, and a
yeah.
sword she uses to fight the enemies of the United States. And she has a classic Roman helmet with stars. The stars represent the United States as well. And in the back, you can see it's kind of like feathers, which is actually not traditional to Roman helmets. That's actually another connection to Native Americans. And here you could see the statue on top. It's a very big statue. It's big enough that even standing all the way at the ground, you could see a lot of the features.
Wow.
So let's go to page 2. How much do you know about the United States government? We have, let me get all of this on one page. There we go. So
Our
repeat after me. Cabinet,
Cabinet.
cabinet,
Cabinet.
cabinet,
House of Representatives,
house,
House of Representatives.
House of Representatives,
house
House
of
of Representatives.
Representatives,
Representative.
Supreme Court,
Supreme
Supreme
Court.
Court,
House,
and Senate.
And
Senate.
Senate.
Senate,
And Senate. Senate.
Senate.
Senate.
Senate,
Senate.
So here we actually have a picture of a different side of the White House. This
Okay.
side of the White House is where guests are received when they come to the White House. So if you ever see pictures of cars showing up to the White House, this is the side they come to. I'll show later in the class, I'll show a different side of the White House. So we have 5 sentences. Use the green words to complete the sentences. In your notebooks, copy the full sentence, and I'll give you 5 minutes to complete.
okay.
About 3 more minutes. About 2 more minutes. About 1 more minute. All right. Number 1. The blank is the highest court in the United States.
The Supreme Court.
The
Court.
Supreme Court is the high court in the
Good.
United States.
The Supreme Court is the highest court in the United States. Number 2. The president consults with the blank on important national issues.
Blank is the cabinet.
The cabinet?
Cabinet or something.
The cabinet, yes.
Cabinet.
Okay.
Cabinet.
The cabinet. And actually, many countries have cabinets now.
Cabinet.
What is the cabinet?
Say again, teacher.
Cabinet.
But what it is, what they do.
So the cabinet in the United States is made up of, let me see if I could grab a,
Important mission. It's true.
I do have a document that explains it. Let me pull it up. Be just a second.
Like in the movie when they have the reunion with the president when something happened.
Yep, it is. It's
Okay.
basically that, but I'm gonna pull up a picture. I do have something that, where did I put it? Is this it? So the Cabinet of the United States is, let me just bring it, of the United
Definitely
States.
Vice President.
They are the advisors to the president. So when you think of the cabinet, you either think of this room. So here we have Obama with his cabinet. This one is Trump with his cabinet.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a tiny, tiny picture.
Is it like the president more someone?
So the cabinet is basically a group of about 18 to 20, depending on how many you count, parts of the federal branch, the executive branch, which helps the president make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So, so when we talk about the cabinet, these are the members of the cabinet. You have the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Treasury, the Secretary of Defense, the Attorney General, Secretary of Interior, Secretary of Agriculture, Commerce, Labor, Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, Transportation, Energy, Education, which our very own Miguel Cardona from Meriden is currently. Actually, Miguel Cardona was actually my boss when I first started in Meriden.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy.
No.
Then we have Veterans Affairs, Homeland Security. Then we have a trade representative, Director of National Intelligence, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, the Office of Science and Technology Policy, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Small Business Administration, and there's still, I think, 3 more. And that would be the president, the vice president, and what's called the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And here we could have a pictures of all of our current members of the cabinet. So Kamala Harris is at the top because she's the vice president, so she's the head of the cabinet. And here are all of our members. Deb Haaland is the first Native American in cabinet. We have Pete Buttigieg, the first LGBT member of cabinet. Hi, Jocelyn. Here's Miguel Cardona from Meriden. It's actually funny. He's the only one whose picture is his.
Yeah, Miguel.
Here's the one from when he was working in Meriden. So this is our cabinet. And then we have these other cabinets, EPA, budget management, national intelligence, United Nations, trade representative, economic affairs, small business administration, science, and the chief of staff. There's a lot of, the cabinet's a very large group of people. So,
Right, the best group in the United States.
and the idea for the cabinet came from George Washington. And George Washington made the cabinet because he believed that the president is not the smart, he's not the smartest person. So he needs people who are experts in different parts of the country to help him make the best decisions. The original cabinet was 4 people, and now we're up to almost 25, 30 people. But that's a lot of different people to help the president when important decisions come up.
Mhm.
So, number 3, the blank and the blank vote on and pass new laws.
The Senate,
The
and
Senate,
cabinet.
no, the House,
And
House of
represents
Representative,
Good.
Oh,
The
Senate.
Senate and the House of Representatives, which are both part of Congress,
Oh.
vote on and pass new laws.
Mm.
Members of the blank and blank
No.
are chosen by the president.
I think is House of Representatives are chosen by the president.
No, actually, we actually vote on the House of Representatives.
Supreme Court
The
and
members,
cabinet.
the members.
Very good. The cabinet
Mhm.
and the Supreme Court are chosen by
Supreme Court.
the president. And candidates are elected to the, got to put Supreme Court back, are elected to the blank and the blank by the voters. Who are the two that are elected by voters?
House of Representatives.
Good. And the
Senator.
Senate. So it's kind of getting you into what checks and balances are. So the next page, we're going to do vocabulary. So we're going to learn key vocabulary by reading the sentences on the left and then matching them with the sentence on the right that follows. There are 6 sentences. Let's do number 1 together. There are 3 branches of the United States government. Which one of the letters A, B, C, D, E, F matches number 1 best? The company
Has
doesn't.
different duties and responsibilities.
number B, teacher.
Correct. Each one has different duties and responsibilities. So let's take about 5 minutes to match the left with the right. So in your notebooks, write down the whole sentence for the left and the right, and then we'll go
Ooh.
over. Okay, about 4 more minutes. About 3 more minutes. Oops. Okay, about 1 more minute. All right. Number 2. When someone commits a crime like stealing, the police try to catch and arrest them.
D.
E.
E.
D. They make sure people follow the law. Number 3. The police enforce the speed limit by giving people speeding tickets.
There's a one.
E.
What was that?
E.
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 This is the legal
Legal
consequence
can.
of the crime.
Mhm.
And we could actually talk in a second about the different
Have
legal
to.
consequences. All right. Number 4. I want to hire more employees, but management will probably veto my idea.
A.
A.
Good. The company doesn't have the budget for it. Number 5. Scientists do research and then try to understand and interpret the data.
F.
F.
Good. They need to explain the information. Good. And 6. The head of the company made a decision and the managers carried it out.
Everyone.
Everyone. C.
So,
Only one left.
Right. Everyone working on the project got an email
They
with
have to.
instructions.
yeah.
Everyone working on the project. The email. Oh, wrong too.
Why? Is that?
No good.
I think it's fine. I still think
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, me too. I confused me too.
I
You
think-
have to choose.
I think you can choose either one, but Actually, I think our decisions were better. I'll let Burlington English know they were wrong.
It's similar, no, teacher.
It's
It is
similar.
the legal
It is similar. And
consequence.
Yeah, they're similar.
yeah, I think they're too similar, so
Mm-hmm.
you can't actually be wrong. But let's talk about the different types of crime there are. So they were talking about tickets. Oh, from our last
Mm.
class. So when we were talking about tickets, we were talking about it being a consequence of
Mhm.
committing a crime.
Yeah.
There are basically 4 levels of consequence in the
Yes.
United States. So the lowest level, so we'll start down here, and I'll call it number 1, is a warning,
Warning
Mhm.
ticket.
not a ticket. There's
Not-
no ticket with a warning.
No, warning is different.
So it's a
Yeah,
warning or a reprimand.
What I mean, reprimand, warning.
this is
So
labeled.
basically, they're telling you like, okay, this time we're letting you go, but next time if you do it again, we're gonna
Mhm.
arrest you.
Yes.
Sometimes some police departments keep copies of their warnings so that they can know who they've actually given warnings to. And then next is level 2, is what we call a civil infraction.
7 inflation.
And there's a simple way to say it, and we call it a ticket.
Yes.
This
So-
one, a ticket.
So a civil infraction is something where you pay the money and it goes away. There's typically there might be records of your tickets, but if for a criminal history check, this will not show up. So I'm going to put a line here because everything after comes in a criminal history check. Okay, everything above 2 is in the criminal history check. And then we go up to number 3, which is a misdemeanor.
Yeah. It's more serious.
It is more serious.
Yes.
There may be
The-
jail.
Yeah.
Mm.
The court.
Definitely,
Yeah. Oh, no.
definitely a fine.
Mhm.
So a fine is like a ticket, but much, much more expensive.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's like thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Yeah, it could be very, very expensive.
Mhm.
And then the final, well, there's actually maybe 5 stages because the last one we don't really use so much anymore. But we have a felony.
Oh no.
A felony is definitely jail
Yes.
Mm.
and fine.
Mhm.
So these are your violent crimes. So stealing like a car or stealing a boat or stealing $1 million, murder. These are all in the felony
Yeah, this is
category.
very serious. Sometimes it's the deportation.
Yep. These are very,
Yeah.
very serious.
Yeah, very serious.
And then number 5, which is the big one, we call it a capital felony.
Oh no.
These are, you don't hear them often. So this is like it's very specific. So
Mm.
these are specific. Oop, let me make it a little smaller. Or no, let me make it a little bigger again. There we go. So these are specific types of murder and torture.
Mhm.
So
Oh, no.
if you kill more than one person, you're probably going to be in a capital felony.
Yeah.
If you commit terrorism or a bombing, that's a capital felony. Capital felonies, if you're convicted of capital crimes, capital murder, you will most likely be put to death.
Mhm.
So the penalty for this is death, which is why you don't see it so often, because we don't do. So this is the death penalty.
Oh,
That's penalty.
definitely.
That's like the very bad.
Oh, no, no,
Mhm.
please. No.
We don't have many death penalties left anymore. It's saved for the most serious crimes.
Yes.
So, for example, do you remember the Boston bombing? That might be a little old. I'm trying to think what it was. So
I remember only what we call Chicago.
I know I'm trying to think of a recent
This is
example
for
that might be a capital felony. Okay,
the-
so you
for
see the news,
terrorist.
so you see
Yeah.
the news when you see people
There
that
is.
go to places with guns and they kill lots of people.
Yes. Yes.
Those will be considered capital felonies because
Capital
they
felony.
killed a lot of people. And there's concern that they will never get better.
Like bombsmen.
Yep, like people who do bombs, or the people who there's that example in Vegas where the guy shot into a concert. So
Mhm.
these are capital felonies. Also like 9/11 would be technically a capital felony. So anyone who helped with 9/11 would have been put into the death penalty. Most of those people have been killed because they all were on the planes. But these are in the United States the 4, maybe 5 levels of crime. You don't see capital felony so much. It's so rare that we don't normally talk about it. And always, some states don't have this anymore. Connecticut does not have a capital felony crime, but the federal government does.
Mm.
So in Connecticut, the state cannot put you to death.
No,
But
no death penalty in Connecticut.
nope, most states have gotten rid of the death penalty,
The
but
Texas.
Texas still,
Texas. Yeah. Right.
they have it. I think Mississippi
But they do
has-
in another state, right? When they have.
Oh no, they have to do it. They have to do it in Texas.
Yeah. Texas.
They have to stay in Texas to do it. The only ones that could do it in different states is the federal government. And again, it's so rare that you never see the death penalty much anymore.
California, teacher, no? No.
California, I believe, does not have it anymore.
No.
I believe Alabama has it. Mississippi,
Mississippi. Yeah.
definitely Texas.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Florida, actually.
No. I think
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
New York does not have it.
No, New York.
So, I don't know if actually I'm not sure if California has it anymore.
Oh,
I have to actually double check that. So, we're going to do a reading on the checks and balances of the US government. Ooh, it looks like a textbook. So we will listen 2 times to the reading.
Ooh.
It's about 3 minutes each time. So,
The United States government. 3 branches of government. The Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution of the United States in 1787. In this document, they explained how the U.S. government would work. They divided the American government into 3 branches, which still exist today. The 3 branches of government have different responsibilities. The legislative branch is Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. This branch makes laws. The job of the executive branch is to carry out and enforce the laws. It is led by the President of the United States. The Vice President and the Cabinet support the President, and the President consults with them when making important decisions. Finally, the judicial branch includes the Supreme Court and its 9 justices, as well as other federal courts. The courts hear cases and interpret laws. Checks and balances. Each branch of government has power, but no branch has more power than the others. Each branch can limit the actions of the others. This is called the system of checks and balances. How does this system work? For example, Congress has the power to pass a law, but the President has the power to veto it. The President can limit the power of the courts by pardoning someone who has committed a crime. The President also has the power to nominate the justices on the Supreme Court. However, these justices are approved, or not approved, by Congress. Finally, the Supreme Court has the power to interpret laws and decide if a law doesn't follow the Constitution. Does the system of checks and balances work? In general, the system of checks and balances works well. It is doing what the Founding Fathers wanted it to do. It was created to keep any one branch of government from having too much power, and it has succeeded. Checks and balances. One example. In 1918, at the end of World War I, President Woodrow Wilson decided that the United States would join the League of Nations. This organization was formed to prevent future wars. But most Americans didn't want to join. So Congress refused to approve the president's decision, and the U.S. did not join the League.
all right. So let's go back to the top. And we'll listen again.
The United States government. 3 branches of government. The Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution of the United States in 1787. In this document, they explained how the U.S. government would work. They divided the American government into 3 branches, which still exist today. The 3 branches of government have different responsibilities. The legislative branch is Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. This branch makes laws. The job of the executive branch is to carry out and enforce the laws. It is led by the President of the United States. The Vice President and the Cabinet support the President, and the President consults with them when making important decisions. Finally, the judicial branch includes the Supreme Court and its 9 justices, as well as other federal courts. The courts hear cases and interpret laws. Checks and balances. Each branch of government has power, but no branch has more power than the others. Each branch can limit the actions of the others. This is called the system of checks and balances. How does this system work? For example, Congress has the power to pass a law, but the President has the power to veto it. The President can limit the power of the courts by pardoning someone who has committed a crime. the president also has the power to nominate the justices on the Supreme Court. However, these justices are approved, or not approved, by Congress. Finally, the Supreme Court has the power to interpret laws and decide if a law doesn't follow the Constitution. Does the system of checks and balances work? In general, the system of checks and balances works well. It is doing what the Founding Fathers wanted it to do. It was created to keep any one branch of government from having too much power, and it has succeeded. Checks and balances. One example. In 1918, at the end of World War I, President Woodrow Wilson decided that the United States would join the League of Nations. This organization was formed to prevent future wars. But most Americans didn't want to join. So Congress refused to approve the president's decision, and the U.S. did not join the League.
All right. So we got 4 questions. And let's do question 1. How many branches of government are there?
3.
Different.
Good.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Legislative branch, executive branch,
Mm-hmm.
judicial branch.
Judicial.
Good. 3. The legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. Good. Next, explain the system of checks and balances. How does it work?
Each branch, right?
Each branch
Mhm.
has power.
Good.
Each branch have a power, but
It has power and it also has
Power limited action. by
limit
mm-hmm.
action of another.
the-
Like one
Good.
control.
Not just one controls another, but they have the power
For
to
more.
what?
But the president is the power, the bigger power.
More than another.
Actually,
One.
per the Constitution, the president actually does not have more power. So, I mean, we're trying to limit the power.
Like he can stop something.
He can stop something from Congress, but Congress can then override his action. So
Okay.
it is a situation where they have power to, well, the president can veto a law from Congress, and then that so they can veto the law, but then when it goes back to Congress, Congress could say, okay, well, what we'll do instead is we will override the president's veto. So it gives Congress a little more power. And in fact, interesting thing about Congress is the Constitution was created to give Congress more power than the president. But we have actually given the president more power since we wrote the Constitution, which is why it might be a little confusing. Because the Constitution says, no, the president should not have much power. But then we actually look at it and we realize, oh, wait, no, it's a little different. All right. So,
Okay.
why was the system of checks and balances created?
Why? Because which each one can check another.
Mm-hmm. It's to prevent what? What are we stopping? We are trying to stop something from happening. So we are trying to stop one branch of government from having more power than another branch.
Okay.
So
keep any one branch
Mhm.
government who having too much the power.
yep, we're trying to keep. So the idea was to originally keep all the power from going to one person. So in the beginning, the president had very little power because he's one person and they did not want a king, basically.
Mhm.
But what ended up happening at the end was the president ended up still getting more power than he should have, which every year you hear the Democrats and the Republicans, depending on who's in power, complain about the other side, saying, oh no, they should not have that much power. But unfortunately, that's how it has gone down. Oh, my computer is being silly today.
Yeah.
Okay. So, which branch of government had its power limited in the example from 1918? So, which branch of government limited the other branch? So, we'll take a look at the blue example. Which branch limited the other branch?
Is about the future
The conquest of
wars.
this one.
Mhm.
Seem like
So-
seem like a conquest.
This-
So,
No, this one.
This
the
one.
president wanted
President
to
Bush.
join the League of Nations,
Oh.
but the Congress did not want to join. So, which branch had its power limited? Well, the legislative branch limited the power of the executive branch. Congress refused to approve the president's decision to join the League of Nations.
Thank you.
All right.
Political.
So let's go to page 5. All right. So what you're going to do is summarize the text, which is actually going to be very hard because you can't see the text. So we're going to actually skip to page 6 just because that one is impossible for us to do. All right. So here is a brief overview of what we read. If you wish, you can take, let's say, 3 minutes to copy the information.
A lot of information.
It is.
The first one is the question, right? You want to have three another, right? The legislative.
The first
So-
one is a question.
This is, let me, so question one, you have the answers for the three branches this way. I don't know why it keeps doing that.
I don't understand.
So,
Okay.
question one, who or what is included in this branch of government? The answer for legislative branch is here, executive branch is here, and judicial branch is here.
Including.
You have a three answer.
Yep. So you have all three answers for one question. And then we go to the next one. And let me make it actually thicker. So, and then the three answers for question two. Yeah, make this a little thicker so we could see. And then finally, the three answers for question three. So so that's kind of how you read each graph. Oops, sorry.
Back.
Sorry.
Go, they disappear.
There we go. Fixed it. Okay, about one more minute. All right. So repeat after me. Who or what is included in this branch of government?
Who or what is included
Included
in this branch of government?
Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives,
Congress,
the
the Senate, and the House of Representatives.
good. The executive branch, the president, the vice president, and the cabinet.
Executive branch, the president,
Vice President,
the vice
and the
president, and cabinet, and the cabinet.
Good.
Cabinet.
The judicial branch, the Supreme Court, and other federal courts.
Judicial branch, the Supreme Court, and another federal court.
What does this branch of government do?
What does
this branch of government do?
Legislative branch makes laws.
Legislative branch make the law.
Executive branch carries out and enforces laws.
Executive branch carry out and enforces laws.
Judicial branch hears cases and interprets laws.
Judicial branch hears case and interprets laws. Oh.
How can this branch limit the powers of other branches?
How
How
can
can this branch limit
powers of
the
the
powers of the another branch?
Good.
Branches.
Legislative branch. Congress can
Legislative.
approve or not approve the Supreme Court justices by the president.
Congress can
Legislative branch
prove or not prove the
Prove or
Supreme
not
Court
prove
justice
or
no imminent
president?
emitted by the president.
Good.
Nominated
Nominated by the president.
nominated by president.
Good.
President.
Executive branch. The president can veto laws passed by Congress.
Executive branch. The
The
president
president
no law, but
can vote laws passed by the Congress.
Good. The president can also limit the power of the courts by pardoning someone who has committed a crime.
The
The
president can
can
also
also
limit
limit
to
the
the power of the courts by the
pardon
pardoning
has
someone who had
committed
committed a crime.
Good.
The law first.
And then the Supreme Court. The judicial branch. The Supreme Court can decide that laws passed by the legislative branch do not follow the Constitution.
Judicial branch. The Supreme Court can decide that laws passed by the legislative branch do not follow the Constitution.
Good.
Oh.
All right. So,
Oh.
so today I'll put something on Google Classroom to talk more about the branches of government. We'll continue this lesson on Monday. We still got a few pages left, and
Yeah.
it'll be fun to talk more about this.
Fun.
Other than that, have a
Fun.
good weekend.
YouTuber.
I should have this
Thank
stuff
you.
up in probably by 1 or 2.
Mm.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Good
thank you,
weekend.
teacher. See you
You have-
Monday.
Jocelyn,
a
did you
good
want to say
weekend.
something?
Okay. Me?
Yeah.
Yes, love.
Can I check with you, please?
Yes.
I couldn't enter on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because Monday I couldn't enter, and Tuesday I was working.
Okay.
I don't know what I have to do.
So I sent emails with homework and videos. If you watch the videos, I will mark you present for the days you missed. That's why I make the videos, so that you're not absent. There is a Google Classroom. Let me show you that. So this is kind of like what we use at the schools. Christian might not know it, but Kevin will know how this works. So we have a Google Classroom, and I added your Meriden Adult Ed email. If you don't know your Meriden Adult Ed email password, you can message Laura and she'll send you your password. And so far we've only had 2 things. One assignment about would and rather from yesterday. And then I had a little fun survey for us to do. I'm going to put something up today about branches of government. So you'll see that. And once you sign in, you just go to Google, you click on the top right corner, and if you have your personal email, you just click add another account, and then you just sign in with your Meriden account. And when you want to go to the Google Classroom, you just got to make sure you switch from personal to Meriden.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yep. And if you have questions, you could email both me and Laura.
Yeah,
No
okay.
problem.
Thank you.
All right. And Yan, you should you might have gotten the email from Laura already. You did not. So she should send an email soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, teacher.
See
Stay
you.
safe.
Yeah, goodbye.